last night, so please forgive me. I spent a couple of hours in New York. And you know, New York is the gift that keeps on giving. So, forgive me. Sorry. It's gone. Just get this out of your way. It's Doug Weber. He might trip and fall. I'll put my glasses on so I can look cool and actually see everything. Hi guys. Hey, James. Do you guys know James Ives? He just was in my grad class. I haven't seen him in 6 years, and he just got nominated for 3 Barry Awards. But if you don't, it's okay. Because you're still down there. What's up, guys? What's going on? What's the story? I guess I can talk about myself, which I love. Yeah, so the clips you saw, is like literally, that's like episode 2, season 1, that was the second week of work. We just finished episode 92. So that was like 90 episodes ago. So if I look a lot thinner and cooler, it's a good thing. That was literally a year out of grad school from Temple. I graduated in 2006. I guess I should give you like 2 seconds of the background, and then you guys can, I'd love to just chat and hang out. Yeah, questions. 2006, I was graduating. I got my MFA from here in acting. Before I graduated, I auditioned for a play in DC at Michael Clark's Shakespeare Company. I got into that, and then from that I went to the Royal Shakespeare Company in England, and it was Lovely Was Lost. It was a terrible play, a version of it, and it was. I had to wear a spacesuit and fly around with this is terrible. And it was like this Indian rendition of it, and Michael Kahn is this just angry man, and I think he needs to get laid more. But then, anyway, so we were in England, the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was the last play, if you guys have never been, they had this theatre there called the Swan Theatre. It was the last play of the Swan Theatre before it got torn down, so that was very cool. And from there, I was in New York. I only had 8 months left in my visa because I'm from India and I had a work visa only for 8 months. And I was in New York and I got a call about a play in LA, but the director was in the Hamptons. So she was like, "Can you audition for me? Do you have a Mac?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm a student, I don't have money, I don't have a Mac." You know, and then she was like, "Okay, go to the Mac store on 5th Avenue and audition for me. Just use one of the computers." She's like, "Go just do it." I'm like, she's like, "I promise you, this will be a good opportunity for you." And I'm like, "Okay." So I go to the Mac store, and I auditioned for this play. I swear to God, I'm doing this monologue, and I'm like crying or fake crying or whatever. And my friends are like looking at me, and I'm like, "Okay, this is that moment where you want to crawl back into your skin and not be present in the moment." And then I was like, you know, whatever, like no one knows who I am. They probably think I'm talking to my parents or something. So I was like, so I did this, and she was like, "Okay, this is great. I want to hire you for this job. Come to LA, but I can only pay you $7 a show."
Oh, what?
That's like even cheaper than equity waiver. It's like $7 a show.
And that's actually unfortunate in LA because most of the waiver theaters you have to pay to act.
Yeah, so exactly. So I was like, okay. I think I didn't know what to do. I had a little bit of savings from England because I got paid in pounds, which was awesome. And then my dad was like, "Just go for it, you have 21, right?" And I was like, "Okay, that's true. That's true." So I moved to LA and I did this play, and she turned out to be the wife of this huge entertainment lawyer. So opening night, I'm doing this play. It's a 30-seat theater, 30 people. And I'm in this seat, and I promise you this, front row, in a 30-seat theater, John Lithgow, Denzel Washington, and Michael Linton, who runs Sony Studios. So, the whole play is about me, by the way. There's just 2 people, and it's about this Indian guy who falls in love with an African American girl. And it's literally me, doing this monologue for probably 30 pages. And I'm basically, I've shat myself, okay? Like, nothing came out, but it could have. So I'm really praying to God that I don't break character and just be like, "I love your work." Back to the So it just so happens that she was this huge person, and for $7 a show, people up, like all these kids who came and watched me and everything. And from there, I met an agent and a manager, and then this was my first pilot audition. People hate me. This was my first pilot audition, but I did this pilot, and then they wanted to recast me actually on the show because they didn't know what they wanted to do with the character, and then the producers fought for me, and then I got on the show, and then 8 episodes later, the writer's strike happened in Hollywood. So now I'm driving an Audi and have this beautiful loft, and I have no money to pay for my lease. And then I was out of work for 4 months, and then when the writer's strike ended, the show came back, and now we're syndicated in our 5th season. And it's been, I have stories that you can't imagine, so I'm not going to tell you all of them, but I haven't been back to Philly in 6 years, so I'm a little nervous because I was just saying I did Romeo and Juliet here, and I was in the wings, I played Benvolio, and every night my pre-show ritual was to clean my sword and say a prayer, because that was Benvolio's thing that he never wanted to fight, right? He just had it to keep peace. And I was just standing there, I was thinking, shit, I was here like every night. I really wanted to play Romeo, but they made him cast me as Benvolio, that ass. He's not here, he skipped out, but anyway, it was a great experience. And then I worked with Doug a bunch, and a lot of what you see was Doug's training in physical comedy, because I did a couple of physical comedy plays, farcical plays with him, and he kept saying, smaller, do it smaller, and I never learned my lesson until I walked in to the first day of taping of Big Bang Theory, and Chuck Lorre, who runs 2.5 Men, Big Bang Theory, and Mike and Molly, said to me, he's like, you think you know shit, but you don't know shit. I was like, what? I was just that young and that abrasive to not give a shit about what he said. But he was right. I mean, for the TV, we just have to be smaller. Unbelievable, the journey that I took. But anyway, I'm really glad to be here. This is so cool to see you guys. This was really awesome. So I guess I'll just take questions. I don't think of smart questions. Just say what was on your mind, because I'm really chill. I love chatting, and we should get beers after this.
I'll just add that my first, when I came to Temple,
It's only a 2-minute story, yeah. Okay.
I was assigned. I was assigned to direct. There was a play that was already cast that he was in, and I was assigned to direct it. And he was cast in the leading role, and I hadn't seen his work before, and it was my first play here at Temple. And so I did my own version of shedding myself with whether or not, and it was a play that required a ton of physical comedy.
And a British accent.
And a British accent.
Which I faked. You know what Doug Baker once said to me? I say, so what did you think after the end of taking the steps? Did you think my performance was good? He was like, we went in this car, seriously, he said this thing. He's like, he said, yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a little like over the top for me, but it was pretty good. After directing this thing, like, I don't know how long, like 4 weeks, he's like,